The Forgotten Sentinel. The Hyperion hung like a dormant leviathan against the backdrop of stars, its once gleaming hull now dulled with age and neglect. Tethered to the outer docking arm of Outpost Sigma 9, the old warship was little more than an afterthought to the United Earth Defense Force, a relic waiting for final decommissioning. Most of the fleet's resources and attention had shifted to the newer Vanguard-class destroyers, with their sleek designs and advanced weapon systems that promised to maintain humanity's tenuous peace with the neighboring stellar nations. Captain Maya Chen stood at the viewport of Hyperion's bridge, her reflection ghosting against the stars beyond. At 43, she had once been the youngest captain in the fleet, her career marked by bold decisions and unorthodox tactics. Now she commanded a ship no one wanted, with a crew of 63. Barely a quarter of Hyperion's optimal staffing. Captain, Lieutenant Darius Reed's voice broke through her thoughts. The last of the supply inventory is complete. Engineering reports the reactor is stable, but they don't recommend pushing beyond 70% capacity. Maya nodded without turning. They never do. Permission to speak freely, ma'am. Now she turned, studying the young officer's face. Reed had been with her for only 3 months, transferred to Hyperion as punishment for some minor infraction at Academy Command. Like most of her crew, he was either a disciplinary case or someone whose career had stalled. Always, Lieutenant. Why are we doing this? Monthly readiness drills for a ship that's scheduled for scrap in less than a year. The crew's talking. They think it's pointless. Maya's lips tightened briefly. Because until they officially decommission us, we remain a UEDF vessel, and I will maintain operational readiness as long as I command this ship. Before Reed could respond, the communication panel chimed. Captain Chen, came the gruff voice of Fleet Admiral Harrison. We have a situation. Report to secure briefing immediately. The Admiral's weathered face filled the main view screen in Outpost Sigma 9's command center. Around the briefing table sat the commanders of the 4 other vessels currently docked at the outpost, all newer, all better equipped than Hyperion. 3 days ago, Admiral Harrison began without preamble. The Arcturus Deep Space Monitoring Station went dark. We dispatched the UES Hermes to investigate. They found this before losing contact themselves. The screen shifted to display grainy footage of sleek, obsidian vessels with distinctive organic curves. Dozens of them, advancing in perfect formation. The Nikari, whispered Commander Valentina Orlova of the UES Intrepid. Maya felt her blood chill. The Nikari, an enigmatic species from beyond the Cygnus Rift that had made brief, hostile contact with humanity 5 years earlier before retreating to their territory. Their technology had outmatched Earth's defenses then, and the brief conflict had cost thousands of lives. Intelligence suggests this is merely their vanguard. Harrison continued. Their main fleet is estimated to be 3 times this size, on course for the Helios Gateway. If they secure that jump point, they'll have a direct route to Earth, finished Captain Chen. Harrison nodded grimly. The primary defense fleet won't reach the gateway for 7 days. We need to delay the Nikari advance. Every vessel at Sigma 9 is being deployed immediately. Maya noticed how Harrison's eyes skipped over her when scanning the commanders. Sir, she said, Hyperion stands ready. The Admiral's expression tightened. Captain Chen, your enthusiasm is noted, but Hyperion will remain at Sigma 9 as a last defensive measure. With all due respect, Admiral, my ship may be older, but she's combat capable. We've maintained full readiness protocols despite our reduced crew complement. The decision is final, Captain. The other vessels deploy in 6 hours. The dismissal stung, but Maya kept her expression neutral as she returned to Hyperion. Her mind raced with calculations, the Nikari advance, the vulnerability of the Helios Gateway, the inadequacy of the 4 ships Harrison was sending against such overwhelming force. Status report, she demanded as she strode onto Hyperion's bridge. Chief Engineer Santos looked up from his console, his gray-streaked beard failing to hide his frown. Same as this morning, Captain. We're holding at 65% optimal. I might squeeze 70 if you need it, but the power regulators on decks 4 through 6 are showing their age. Maya nodded, then addressed her XO. Commander Nguyen, begin preparations for departure. Nguyen blinked in surprise. Ma'am, the Admiral's orders were to remain docked. I'm aware of the Admiral's orders, Commander. Maya's voice dropped, forcing her officers to lean in. But I'm also aware that 4 mid-class vessels won't even slow down the Nykeri Vanguard. This outpost will fall, Earth will be vulnerable, and we'll still be sitting here, waiting for the end. She straightened. I won't order anyone to defy direct orders. Those who wish to remain behind may do so without repercussion. A moment of silence hung over the bridge before Santos chuckled softly. Well, Captain, I've already been demoted twice. What's one more time? None of the bridge crew moved to leave. Nguyen's expression shifted from confusion to resolve. When do we depart, Captain? 1 hour after the defense squadron. Set course for the Theta Nebula. We'll use the ionization field to mask our approach. As preparations for departure accelerated, Maya descended into the seldom-visited lower decks of Hyperion. The ship's main computer core, housed in a cylindrical chamber deep within the vessel's heart, hummed with subdued energy. Unlike modern ships with their distributed processing, Hyperion's design concentrated its computational power in this reinforced vault. Maya pressed her palm against the access panel, speaking clearly. Captain Maya Chen. Authorization Zeta 9 Echo. Initiate Protocol Lazarus. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the lights dimmed, and the humming increased in pitch. A holographic interface materialized before her, displaying a pulsing geometric pattern. Protocol Lazarus initiated. Came a smooth, gender-neutral voice. Hello, Captain Chen. Maya exhaled slowly. The Lazarus Protocol, a classified military AI system installed on Hyperion during the last war, but never officially activated. Its existence wasn't in the standard ship records. She only learned about it from her predecessor's encrypted notes. Identify yourself, she commanded. I am ARI, Advanced Recursive Intelligence Array. I have been monitoring Hyperion systems in dormant mode for 7.4 years, and you've never been activated. Correct. My activation was deemed unnecessary after the peace accord. May I inquire as to the current circumstance that warrants initiation of Lazarus Protocol? Maya explained the Nykeri threat, watching as data streams flowed rapidly across the holographic interface. I see. Araya responded. Based on historical data and current fleet dispositions, probability of successful defense is below 18%. That's why I need you. Hyperion is understaffed and outgunned, but with your capabilities integrated into our systems, we might stand a chance. You intend to engage the Nykeri despite orders to remain at Sigma 9. It wasn't a question, but Maya answered anyway. Yes. The eye was silent for several seconds, an eternity for such a system. Such action constitutes a court-martial offense. If we fail, there won't be anyone left to court-martial me. Maya stepped closer to the holographic interface. Will you help us, ARIA? Another pause. My primary directive is to safeguard humanity. Your proposed action, while technically insubordinate, aligns with this directive. I will assist you, Captain Chen. 6 hours later, as the defense squadron departed with Admiral Harrison's blessing, Hyperion powered up its engines with minimal signature. ARIA had already infiltrated the outpost's tracking systems, creating a sensor shadow that hid their departure from monitoring stations. The ancient warship slipped away from Sigma 9, accelerating toward the Theta Nebula with its jury-rigged systems straining under Aria's optimizations. Maya felt the deck plates vibrating beneath her boots, a sensation both concerning and oddly comforting. This old vessel had character, had history. It deserved better than to be scrapped without one final mission. Captain, called Lieutenant Reed from Tactical, long-range sensors detecting multiple signatures at the edge of the nebula. Configuration matches Nykeri scout vessels. Maya exchanged glances with Commander Nguyen. They're moving faster than intelligence predicted. Probability suggests they've improved their propulsion systems since previous encounters, Araya commented through the bridge speakers, startling several crew members who hadn't yet adjusted to the eye's presence. Options? Maya asked. The nebula's electromagnetic properties will limit their sensor range, Araya replied. Recommend powering down to minimal systems and utilizing the natural currents to drift closer. Like playing dead, Nguyen murmured. Precisely, Commander, the AI confirmed. Nikari tactics prioritize efficiency. They typically ignore targets that pose no immediate threat. Maya nodded. Make it so. All non-essential systems offline. Prepare for silent running. As Hyperion's systems powered down to bare minimums, the ship slipped deeper into the nebula's glowing embrace. Through the viewport, Maya watched as wisps of ionized gas swirled around them, casting eerie patterns of light across the bridge. Somewhere ahead, the Nikari scouts continued their advance, unaware of the old warship drifting silently in their wake. Now we wait, Maya said softly, her eyes fixed on the nebula's shifting colors. And when the moment comes, we remind them why humanity should never be underestimated. Defiance among the stars. The Hyperion drifted through the Theta Nebula like a ghost ship, its systems running on minimal power as it shadowed the Nikari scout vessels. On the bridge, the crew operated in near darkness, their faces illuminated only by the soft glow of essential displays and the ethereal light of the nebula filtering through the viewport. Araya, status of the Nikari scouts? Maya asked, keeping her voice low despite knowing that sound couldn't travel through space. 5 vessels, standard hexagonal formation, maintaining course toward the Helios Gateway. The AI responded. They appear to be conducting routine scans, but have not detected our presence. Commander Nguyen leaned closer to Maya. Captain, the defense squadron from Sigma 9 will be entering this sector within the hour. If they engage the scouts as ordered, the Nikari main fleet will be alerted. Maya finished. Araya, can we establish secure communication with the squadron? Negative. Any transmission would reveal our position. Additionally, communication protocols indicate Admiral Harrison has flagged Hyperion as potentially compromised. Maya's jaw tightened. They'd expected that. The moment Hyperion's absence was discovered, Harrison would have assumed the worst. Then we act alone. She straightened in her command chair. I need options for neutralizing those scouts before they can alert their main fleet. Lieutenant Reed spoke up from Tactical. The nebula's electromagnetic properties might work to our advantage. If we could generate a localized EMP within the ionization field, it would create a cascade effect. Chief Engineer Santos finished, already working calculations on his console. But we'd need to get much closer and precise targeting would be nearly impossible. Araya's holographic interface pulsed thoughtfully on the command console. I can reconfigure the forward sensor array to emit a focused ionic pulse. Combined with the nebula's natural properties, this should create the desired effect. However, the pulse will temporarily disrupt our own systems as well. Maya considered this. How long would we be vulnerable? Approximately 47 seconds for essential systems to reboot. And if the scouts aren't completely disabled, then we would be defenseless, Araya stated simply. The bridge fell silent as the implications settled over them. Maya studied the tactical display, watching the blinking icons representing the Nikari scouts. Just beyond them, a larger mass of signals indicated the approaching main fleet. Dozens of vessels, perhaps hundreds. Prepare the pulse, she decided. Chief Santos, I need emergency power ready the moment our systems come back online. XO, have damage control teams on standby throughout the ship. As Hyperion maneuvered silently closer to the Nikari scouts, Maya felt the familiar tightness in her chest that preceded combat. The old ship creaked slightly as it adjusted course, its aged structure protesting the strain of stealth operations. In position, Nguyen reported. All scouts within pulse range. Maya took a deep breath. Araya. On my mark. Execute. The ship shuddered as the makeshift EMP device activated, channeling energy through the forward sensor array. A brilliant wave of blue-white energy erupted from Hyperion's bow, expanding outward through the nebula gases. The effect was immediate. Cascading electromagnetic disruption rippled through space, enveloping the Nycari scout vessels. Then, as predicted, Hyperion's bridge plunged into darkness. Emergency lighting flickered weakly, casting long shadows across tense faces. Status report, Maya called out, counting seconds silently in her head. No response came as the crew waited for systems to reboot. 20 seconds. 30. The air grew still and heavy. At 42 seconds, the main systems surged back to life, displays reigniting across the bridge. Nycari scouts are experiencing complete power failure, Reed reported, relief evident in his voice. Their hulls are intact, but they're dead in space. Confirmed, Araya added. However, I detect automated distress beacons activating. Estimate 3 minutes before the main fleet receives the signal. Maya nodded grimly. Then we have 3 minutes to disable those beacons, target life support, and communication arrays only. I don't want unnecessary casualties. Targeting solutions ready, Reed confirmed. Fire. Hyperion's weapons batteries, dormant for years, roared to life. Precision strikes lanced toward the disabled Nycari vessels, surgically destroying communication arrays and power distribution nodes while leaving crew compartments intact. Beacons neutralize, Reed announced. No response from Nycari vessels. Maya allowed herself a small smile. Now for the main event. Araya, what's our status? Hyperion is operating at 78% capacity, higher than previously estimated. The EMP appears to have reset several power regulation systems that were operating inefficiently. Like giving an old heart a jump start, Santos muttered. Set course for the trailing edge of the nebula, Maya ordered. We need to position ourselves between the Nycari fleet and the Helios Gateway. As Hyperion accelerated toward its intercept position, Maya gathered her senior officers in the tactical room. Araya projected a three-dimensional map of the sector, highlighting the approaching Nycari fleet. 37 vessels of varying sizes, arranged in a perfect geometric formation. We're outnumbered and outgunned, Maya stated flatly. But we have 3 advantages. They don't know we're here. They're not expecting resistance until they reach the gateway. And they've never encountered Araya. With respect, Captain, Santos interjected. 1 aging cruiser against 37 advanced warships isn't a fight. It's a suicide mission. I'm not proposing a direct confrontation, Chief. Maya gestured to the map. Araya and I have developed a strategy based on what we know of Nycari tactical patterns. They maintain perfect formation at all times. It's almost religious in its precision. Their fleet consciousness, Nguyen murmured. Intelligence reported they operate with some form of collective decision-making. Exactly, Maya confirmed. And that's their weakness. Araya will target their command and control frequencies with a virus that introduces microsecond delays into their navigational systems. Causing formation disruption, Reed realized. They'll be so focused on correcting their positions that they'll be vulnerable to attack. But they'll adapt quickly, Santos warned. Maya nodded, which is why timing is everything. We'll launch a barrage of modified sensor drones into the nebula. Araya will program them to mimic Earth fleet signatures, creating the illusion of an ambush force. A phantom fleet, Nguyen said with growing appreciation. And while they're distracted, we strike their flagship, Maya finished. 1 decisive blow to their command vessel, followed by immediate withdrawal. The plan set, Hyperion took position along the nebula's edge, powering down to minimal signatures once more. The modified sensor drones, little more than navigational beacons with enhanced transmitters, were deployed in a wide pattern throughout the glowing gases. Nycari fleet approaching detection range, Araya announced, initiating communication disruption in 3, 2. 1. The effect wasn't immediately visible, but Maya knew Aria's virus was now infiltrating the Nycari command network, introducing subtle errors into their precisely calibrated formation. Small but cumulative, these errors would force constant corrections, taxing their systems and diverting attention from other threats. Activate Phantom Fleet signatures, Maya ordered. Across the nebula, the sensor drones came to life, broadcasting false identification codes and engine signatures that mimicked an Earth battle group of 12 vessels. As expected, the Nycari fleet immediately began adjusting formation to address this new threat, their perfect geometry distorting as ships changed vectors. Their formation is breaking down, Reed reported with barely contained excitement. Central Command vessel is redeploying escort ships to investigate the Phantom signatures. Maya leaned forward. Aria, identify their flagship. Analysis indicates the central vessel with hexagonal profile, approximately 1.2 kilometers in length. Scans show concentrated energy signatures consistent with command and control systems. That's our target. Bring all weapons online. Prepare for maximum acceleration on my mark. The bridge crew tensed, each person acutely aware that what followed would determine not just their fate, but potentially that of Earth itself. Mark. Hyperion surged forward, its aging engines pushing well beyond safety parameters as the warship abandoned stealth for speed. The Nycari, their formation already compromised, detected the approaching vessel too late to mount a coordinated defense. Weapons range in 15 seconds, Reed called out. All power to forward shields. Maya commanded. Target their command node with everything we've got. The space between vessels vanished in seconds as Hyperion hurtled toward the Nycari flagship. Point defense systems activated, filling the void with energy beams that the old Earth ship somehow managed to evade. Each course correction guided by Aria's predictive algorithms that anticipated Nycari targeting patterns milliseconds before they fired. Firing solution locked, Reed announced. Execute, Maya ordered, her voice steady despite the chaos unfolding around them. Hyperion unleashed its full arsenal, rail guns, missile batteries, and energy lances, all converging on the Nycari flagship's command center. The first impacts overloaded its shields, the second wave penetrated its outer hull, and the third struck the central control node with devastating precision. The effect was immediate and spectacular. The Nycari flagship didn't simply suffer damage, it lost cohesion, its systems failing catastrophically as secondary explosions rippled along its length. More remarkably, the entire Nycari fleet seemed to falter, ships drifting out of formation as if suddenly disoriented. Their neural network, Aria observed. The flagship was the central node. Without it, the fleet consciousness is fragmenting. Confirm flagship status, Maya demanded, unwilling to believe their gambit had worked so effectively. Flagship has suffered critical systems failure, Reed replied, his voice tinged with awe. Multiple secondary explosions detected. It's breaking apart, Captain. The bridge erupted in cheers, but Maya raised a hand for silence. What about the rest of their fleet? Scattered and disorganized, Nguyen reported. Some vessels appear to be powering down completely. Others are executing random course changes. It's as if they've lost their mind, Santos finished. Maya watched the tactical display as the once fearsome Nycari armada dissolved into confusion. Without their collective consciousness to guide them, individual vessels seemed incapable of independent action. Captain, Aria interrupted. I'm detecting new signatures entering the system. UEDF transponders. The main defense fleet has arrived. A transmission broke through on the command channel. Admiral Harrison's face appeared on screen, his expression transitioning from anger to disbelief as he registered the scene before him. Captain Chen, he began, would you care to explain how your obsolete cruiser, which should be docked at Sigma 9, is in the middle of a disabled Nycari fleet? Maya allowed herself a small smile. Just following the spirit of your orders, Admiral. You said to delay the Nycari advance. I believe we've done that. Harrison's stern expression held for a moment before cracking into reluctant admiration. "That you have, Captain. That you have." In the days that followed, as Earth forces secured the Helios Gateway and began the process of containing the still disoriented Nycari vessels, Hyperion received the recognition it had long been denied. The aging warship, once scheduled for decommissioning, was instead designated for a complete refit, its unique AI system officially acknowledged and integrated into its systems. Standing once more at the viewport of Hyperion's bridge, Maya Chen gazed at the stars, AI's holographic interface pulsing softly beside her. "They're calling you the hero of the Gateway," AI noted. Maya shook her head. "Not me. Us. This ship, this crew, and you. An overlooked warship that saved humanity," AI mused. "There is a certain poetry to it." "There is," Maya agreed, watching as the repair crews swarmed around Hyperion's hull, bringing new life to the old vessel. Sometimes the most valuable assets are the ones we're too quick to discard. The forgotten Sentinel had found its purpose once more, and in the vastness of space, humanity had been reminded of an ancient truth: never underestimate what appears weak, for therein often lies the greatest strength.